now.
Yep.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to our Tuesday Night Live. And this is G and I coming to you from Grumpy Acres Farm.
Let's see who we got in the chat. So
Chop.
Terminator was in first. How you doing?
Hey.
Then the Scanes girl says she is listening on her phone, but busy hooking up the trailer to bring some stuff up. Oh yeah. Then we got Tambra. Hello, Tambra. Anybody else that's in lurking around? Make sure that you guys get into the live chat so you can see all the messages. And welcome. Well, it's been an interesting week. Would you say so?
Yes.
It's been an interesting week, and the big story is the fact that the United States government is stealing your land, and the other big story is it's also the biggest child trafficking organization in the world. But we'll get to that. We'll talk about that later. I will let you guys decide.
You and little Miss Prober, like last night's Girls Night Live, hey, she's just like, let's go straight into it.
But why don't you tell them about how the government is stealing our land?
Yeah. Oh, man.
It's stealing your land, actually.
Yeah. So, let me grab this real quick. You threw these over here. So, this is quite possibly going to be, by 2050, the largest land grab ever in history of the United States. So we have something going on called the 30/30 land grab. And we went to a meeting up in Brown County. I was really, really fascinated. There were 5 counties represented up there. Should have been more because this also affects Shawnee County. It affects the entire United States. And so basically what's happened, we thought this was like a new thing because they're talking about the turbines and the wind turbines and the industrial solar and all this other stuff. Well, something we all miss, they have to have battery banks. And so they want to put this these industrial type deals in, which is part of a problem because it's full of poison. So basically, the lobbyists have been working for the last 6 years up in Congress, Washington, D.C., getting everybody on board. We're just now finding out about it, and they have claimed eminent domain. And so they are trying to get land out of trust, and that includes your national parks, that includes farmers' land, that includes Indian reservations, everything, guys, everything. And they think they're just going to come in and they're going to take it. And here's part of the problem. Here's one of the reasons. Those take water. Think of all those lithium batteries and all of that stuff. It takes water to operate all of that. And so basically they have to put the farmers out so that, because farmers, homesteaders, we use a lot of water. How much water do you think we go through every day?
Like 40 gallons.
So 40 gallons, that's just on the livestock. That's not us, right?
In the summertime, it's like 60, 70 gallons a day.
So, and then think on a large scale farm where you're watering crops and doing all that, that's a lot more water. And so they basically are going to put all of these down the river systems, lake systems, that kind of thing. The map is absolutely incredible. You don't happen to have the link on you, do you?
No, I'm going to talk about that.
Okay. And then, so it's just absolutely incredible what they're trying to do. And water is not important. I would beg to argue. And so here's my deal. So I've been doing some studying because there was something brought up that Angel's Graham had said. And she was talking about the study that she had found. I'm still looking for that study, but looked at some other things.
Everybody knows who Angel is.
Angel Cushing. If you go, she's on Facebook, and she is the one that's talking about this land grab. The federal government actually came up, and they tried taking some of her land and her neighbor's land for a, what I tell you, I want to say aqueduct, but I don't think that's it. It was for something. They were going to take their private land and make it public and that kind of thing. Well, your grandfather belonged to one. Your family has rights to it. The lake in Colorado. You remember what that's called?
It's a catchment dam.
Yeah, but it's called something else. So anyway, this is what they're trying to do there. So she's been fighting this. The deeper and deeper she got into it, found out about the 30 by 30 land grab. Now, this is supposed to happen by 2030. By 2050, they're planning on having 50 to 70% of American territory.
Okay. Can I
You want me to stop?
fill in the blanks?
Sure.
Okay. She kind of gave you the shotgun overview of it. Here's some pertinent things. Number one, this meeting that she's talking about that she went to this weekend, go over to the Northeast Open Government YouTube channel and make sure you subscribe to it. Make sure you comment that they've got the entire video of the meeting. Now,
It's long.
forewarning that the audio is not the best, but it's the best you can do under the circumstances. So this land grab that she's talking about, what it is, it's part of a coordinated effort by environmental radicals to they call it dehumanizing the landscape, and it's being pushed by the UN, and there are radicals in the U.S. government that are doing it, and like she said, they're planning by 2030 to have 30% of the landmass of the United States under federal control. Now, something they did whenever Biden first got into office, they changed the rules, because it used to be that local and state governments could veto eminent domain by the federal government. They took that right away from them. They took the ability for them to do that. So when the federal government decides they're going to do it, the only way you can stop it is by going through legal action. You know, the states and the localities can't go, no, you're not taking our land. So that's the first thing. The next thing is, what the main onus behind this is to keep everything pristine, quote unquote. And in the process, and you've seen it if you've been paying any attention over the last 10, 12 years, the BLM, Bureau of Land Management, has been doing this on a regular basis, where they revoke grazing rights that people have had. That's what started the whole Bundy Ranch thing.
Water rights.
The Wetlands of America law that was passed is part of that, where they're trying to, anything down to a puddle can be declared a wetland, and the government has ultimate control over it. Another way that they've been doing it is they have increased the ability for farmers to get into government programs. Watch this one time, please.
Oh, you want me to start
In case
pressing?
I miss anything. But they want farmers involved and landowners involved in these programs where they get federal money. Because what happens whenever you get federal money, it creates what's called a nexus. You know, whether you're doing CRP or wetlands revitalization or any of these things, it gives them a nexus. And when they have a nexus, if something comes up with an endangered species or some environmental emergency, the federal government owns your land. They tell you what to do with it. All right. So this is an ongoing thing, and the goal is that they got 30 by 30 and then 50 by 50, and the radicals want to dehumanize 50% of the United States. Now, right now, there's only about 2.4% of the landmass in the United States that's developed. And by developed, I mean there's buildings on it, there's roads on it, there's man-made structures on it. All right? And it's the thing behind it, there's something dark really behind it that nobody talks about, is that they're not setting this stuff aside for it to be pristine. They're setting it aside so that the cronies of the government oligarchy can go in and get rich off of the natural resources. Now, if you remember, go back and think about the Bundy Ranch thing, and who was the senator out in Nevada that got beat up by his jogging machine? Anyway, they were taking away all that land, and there was a Chinese consortium that wanted that land for a solar farm, and he was a big part of it. He was facilitating it. So it's not like they're altruistic and they're trying to save Mother Nature. What they're doing is there's a group of people that are using smooth-brained individuals that are radicals looking for a reason to be important, and they're using them to steal our birthright from us, and that's what it is. It's stealing our birthright. All right, and they do it and this is all part of a bigger scheme. The taxes,
Tell them
the
about Africa.
the rezoning, the rezoning stuff that we're going through. Again, go over to the Northeast Kansas Open Government YouTube channel, and we've got the zoning commission meeting. And
It's always fun when you can put the puzzle pieces together before the meetings.
yeah,
I love it.
And so it's going to affect you. You may not live in one of these places.
This is all over the United States, guys. This is not just Kansas.
I'm going to make a community post tomorrow with the website, with the links to the maps, and I'm also going to put the link for the PDF for this document right here. If you do anything, download this document and read it. Go front to back. It's not very long. It's an easy read. But it gives you a 100,000-foot view of the issue, and it gives you links to go deeper into it. And this is one of those cases where, we talk about being involved in local government. This is one of those cases where we can make a difference because you can fight it. There have been people that have fought this through legal means and through the proper, getting petitions signed and stuff like that. And it still works. I'm not saying down in the future it's going to work, because we may end up with a government that decides that rules don't apply anymore except to the people that follow them. And we may be looking at a completely different thing. And
when you do that, it's important to remember it's a 14-day process. From the time that it's passed, you have 14 days. You have to have at least 20% of the voters, the residents that it takes. And one of the ways they were able to make it difficult, even more difficult, is that you have to have a resolution for every single parcel. So, and you need to get your county attorney. She does, Angel has on her, I'm sure through Facebook, you can get to her website. And she does have examples how to put the resolution together. But it's very, very important that you're looking at who your county attorney is, because they have to help you. You have to let them know what you're doing.
Again, go to the Northeast Open Government channel, watch the video, because they go through all this stuff and they show you how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Tag just posted something very interesting. Think of what could be unburdened by what has been. This is something that Kamala Harris has said, that everybody says is nothing but word salad, and that's not the case.
Isn't that the number one rule of Marxism?
No, that is a Marxist ideology right there. That came straight out of the Marxist playbook. What Kamala Harris and the other people that support her are talking about when they say this is, if we can unburden ourselves from the past, we can remake things into our image, what we want. That's the idea behind that sentiment.
Jim, so they are going to be on Monday, right?
This sounds like something you need to tag. It's going to be
Mike.
So Monday the 19th, I just posted the live thing today. Monday the 19th, and I still got to get confirmation. They said they would do it, but Tag and Indiana Mike, we're going to do a live at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, the only time zone that matters. And we're going to talk about being involved in local politics. And because that's what this comes down to.
Had we not have been, we'd have never known about this.
Right. That's what this all comes down to, is being involved in local politics. And right now, the idea is to talk about, number one, why you should be involved in politics. Number two, what are some of the obstacles that you're going to face? How do you overcome them? And number three, how do we build political capital as a community in order to spend it and make it into something else, right? Spags is in here, and Spags has a great saying. He's got a sticker. If you guys go to Midwest Preparedness Festival, hit him up for one of his stickers that says every choice is an economic choice. And at the bottom of it, he's right, because you're choosing how to spend something, whether it's emotional, financial, energy, resources, whatever. And that's what political capital is. It's something that you can spend and turning it into something more valuable.
Can I go back for a minute? Just real
Okay,
quick?
go ahead and go back.
So on this 30 by 30 land grab, he's going to go ahead and share that PDF with you. They want this information out. But if you look at the end of that PDF, there's a sign up portion on the end of it. Just for a small donation, you can donate whatever you want. These come out monthly from American Stewards, and you can actually go in and get those PDFs as they come out. And they're constantly working on this stuff and keeping you informed. So there's an idea. You might just do that.
Tag and Mike would be far better to discuss this than I would be.
Yeah, it's hard if you haven't been at the meetings and really figured it out.
I think Spags is the point where shoot him in the face is the default.
It's the default answer, probably.
Yeah. So that's the big thing that she did this week. And did you do anything else? I see some stuff on the counter over there that you did.
Some stuff.
Your jars.
Oh, vinegar. Yeah, I'm getting ready. I'm going to be demonstrating fermenting at both Kentucky Sustainable Living and also at SRF. So
and these are going to be all day demonstrations. It's not like
you won't miss it if you're not there at 8 o'clock or whatever. So I'm going to try to do it not all day because of course we have to run our vendor tent and all of that stuff.
Well, we'll set it up right next to the vendor tent.
Oh, that works. Okay. So if you have any questions or want to see it burp and how it works and the different tools that I use and all of that stuff, everything's going to be there. I'm going to try to also possibly start. We'll have to see what the refrigerator looks like in the hotel or if I can sit at home with Shelly overnight. We'll have to try to figure that one out and we can do coleslaw. But I think she has a refrigerator in there. Yeah. So if she can put it in overnight, or maybe I just send it back with Jason. I don't know. We're going to try to figure it out. So I've got different things there for you guys to watch and see the process, things that I've had a lot of questions on. So we're going to try to do that. We do have confirmation for $135 per person on, I think they're announcing it tonight. And so you can go over to Kentucky Sustainable Living and you can see the lineup. I will be teaching a class on Friday. And we're going to do canning. We're going to go over pressure canning. We're going to go over water bathing. She messaged me and she's like, are you going to show water bathing too? And I was like, I don't know if I have enough room on the stove. But actually, yes, I think I can. So I think we can do them at the same time. And I'll just do the apple pie filling since it's low acid. And then, which is what they're wanting to learn. And show them how to bring that up so you can can it. And then we'll water bath that because that only takes 20 minutes. So we'll go ahead and do that. So we'll be doing both. $135, guys. So you're comfortable. You're going to walk away with product. You're going to get dissolvable labels. You're going to walk away with those. I think there's 200 in each package. And then you're also going to walk away with something that we can that day of your choice. So.
And I'm telling you what, those dissolvable labels, had I known they existed 10 years ago,
that's what we would always
be using them because cleaning off label off a jar, anybody that's tried to do that, after it's been on the jar for a long time knows what a pain in the butt that is.
You want me to go grab the ones that I use? I can show them to everybody.
No.
Okay, so we'll have them at the class. You want to see them, you can come look at them. But they're wonderful, and they literally come off with the washing. No big deal. So, yeah, so that's what I've been doing, just getting ready for festivals. I've got skeins here.
You need to clean the freeze dryers and get some product.
I do, yes. And I got to get candy in there.
When I say clean them, I mean clean them.
Yeah, I know, but okay. I've been waiting for you. I got to.
No, don't point fingers.
Hey, I asked you, seriously, I don't want to fight about this. I asked you to pull the extra large out in there. I can't get that out by myself, and you know that. And so, but you've been busy, and I haven't been pressuring you because candy doesn't take me but 2 hours, so it's not a big deal. And so I'll get that process. Gaines will be here. She's got work to do. Looks like that she is going to stay an extra day so she can do that lunch. So maybe her and I together, we can pull those and get those washed out.
I'll get them pulled out.
I can do the large. It's the extra large that's too heavy.
So yeah, getting ready and found out some news yesterday. And the zero turn, Darren finally got the stinking thing torn apart and it looks like it needs a new engine. So I told her last night, I said the festivals are probably going to pay for a new engine for the lawnmower.
So y'all save your money. We're gonna need help.
Yeah. So that's the goal. I was going to try to make the goal to buy a universal attachment for the skid loader, so I could start using all those attachments that we have. But getting that mower fixed is going to be a priority. We need to get it going, and then we need to get the Jeep going.
Yeah. Hey, Ted, your wife is calling me. Apparently, she's got a question. Is it something that's private or something that she can ask on here while I see it if she has to have the answer right now?
But let's see here. Spags would be great. He just doesn't want to go on your channel. Yeah, I kind of noticed that. He wrote his opus. He wrote his opus off of YouTube, and he just doesn't seem to do it anymore. Oh man. Okay, so getting ready for festival. It's been slow, but it's going to pick up speed. The homesteading thing I did this week was I got my first water catchment project in. So I decided in July
Hey, Chuck.
that I was going to try to complete a water catchment project every week until I got them finished. Not sure that's going to happen. I did get, actually it's the second one, because the first one was building a swell down in the goat pen to stop the erosion. The next one was I got a 325-gallon IBC tote up and running, and I was doing a video on it, but I deleted it because it just wasn't turning out the way I wanted, and it rained that night. And so I'm gonna go out and probably tomorrow after I get done moving feed, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna try to shoot that video. So I've got a video for you. Speaking of shooting videos, everybody seems to like the morning walk videos that Fancy and I do. And I haven't done one since last week. And the reason is it's too damn dark. I tried shooting one yesterday. I've done my walks. I didn't do them on Saturday and Sunday, but during the week I've done them. And
maybe you can do like evening walks.
well, I got stuff I got to do around here in the evening.
Maybe there's something that can help relieve you.
But it was literally too dark, and I'm like filming it, and all you can see is like a very vague silhouette of me, and it's just
we could get you like a light.
Well,
like
that doesn't
that comes off and then shines
that doesn't do any good because it's the.
I'm just thinking about how nerdy it would look,
but so I'm trying to figure something out. I've got some regular videos in the works, and I may move it to evening when I've got the animals out on the pasture. If you guys don't mind hearing me curse at them every now and then, I may move those to the evening because I really enjoy the stream of thought videos where I don't have to think very much and I can just say what I want to say. And I know they're not directly homestead related. I know they're not directly preparedness related, but they're cognitive things that help us prepare for what we need to do and what may be coming. All right, and I think they're really important. And plus they keep me from blackpilling myself, So did you see that Chuck came in and Rosie came in?
Hey, Rosie.
So yeah, I'll get that video out, and we got 4 more coming.
Say what?
The IBC totes.
Yes. Oh yeah. He went and got those yesterday. I should have went and got those today. I'll go grab them tomorrow. I probably better check with them.
Tag, the ultimate scrounger. That's another one of the hats that he wears. Found a deal semi-locally where we got IBC totes for $25 a piece. We just had to go get them. So we've got 4 of them coming. So between 4 IBC totes and the black barrels and everything,
it's a lot of gallons of water.
And on top of that, getting the well, I haven't gotten the well completely ready to go to drop a pump down it, but it's getting there. I'm to the point now where I just need to bomb it with some bleach.
Content is king.
Yeah. You don't have to see my face on the video.
Yeah,
but doing the video where I'm just in the dark, it wasn't good. Did
it look weird?
Yeah, I did it. It was really weird.
Yeah,
it was really weird.
She's not your boss.
She's not your boss. Don't listen.
What did I say?
I don't know. I was gonna ask her. I'm not quite sure what she said. I don't listen to her.
I don't have to do much of anything. Yeah, number one, nobody listens to me, and number two, Tag is constantly riding my butt. He's that big brother you just want to smother in the middle of the night. But I love him.
But so that's basically. I mean, look at that. We're not even 30 minutes in, and we've gone through this week.
Oh, we've got you say with 30 minutes in, we've gone through the whole week. I mean, it's been a hectic week. It's been a lot. And then I've got to scramble to get some stuff put away and all of that, so we're not tripping over crap having more people in the house. And because I've been canning and doing all that, so my canners are in the middle of the floor. I've got everything that I canned up there. Yeah, so it's a lot. I'll get it done. It's not a big deal. I've got till tomorrow evening. So, well, unless Gaines leaves like at the crack of dawn.
So here's something that happened this last week that you guys need to be aware of. So, I work IT. We got hit with another hack.
Mm-hmm.
IT security. Review your passwords. Make sure you've got good passwords. Make sure you've got good security on all your accounts. If you don't know what two-factor authentication is, look it up and implement this stuff, because these hacks are going to become more and more frequent, and they're going to start targeting a wider and wider audience, i.e. they're going to start hitting individuals more often on top of organizations. Hi G, what's up? So just that's your public service announcement. You want to talk about kids going back to school?
My kids going back to
No,
school?
just any kids. So, okay, guys.
That's been years for me.
As you know, we're now affiliates with Jace Medical. And one of the things that they send out, and this just isn't for affiliates, this is for just people in general. You can subscribe to their newsletter. And they put out newsletters periodically. And they sent one out today that I thought was very pertinent. So it is the 9 most common back-to-school illnesses.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say this is important,
it is,
because if you are around little children,
and we all are, even if you go grocery shopping,
and they go to school, they become little incubators. And they become little snotty, coughing incubators of disease.
Your wife was that way.
And I say that with love about my grandchildren. I used to say that with love about my children, but it's just a simple fact. It's truth. And so these are the things that we need to think about. And the newsletter they sent out today was the 9 common illnesses for back to school and the medications that we can use. And I think it's and Chuck, if you're in here, if you're still in here, please pop in.
Well, there's also things you can do naturally, right? So make sure they're getting enough vitamin C. Make sure they're getting zinc. Make sure, pull those foods in that are going to give that in their body, and it's going to be stable. And so you're going to have to do a little bit of education on that. But once you get that, then you can start doing that and get that into your body. Now, does that mean they're never going to get sick? No. But what it means is that if they do get sick, and maybe it's not as severe, it doesn't spread to everybody. Like, right. I make sure that I do my thing. G does his thing. I got sick. You never got sick.
So maybe you should do a video, and you should take this list, because they list off the medicines that are used to combat it. Maybe you should do a video and find natural alternatives.
Oh, I could do that. I don't know. I still have a cooking video on there that hasn't even been taken off. So.
I know you could.
Yeah, but I don't waste my time doing videos when they're not uploaded. Okay. So I have enough to do.
So, do you?
Yes.
Okay. But anyway, Homestead Med, wash your hands
frequently.
Simple prevention. Yeah, probably the best advice given to keep disease free.
And it's really important, because so many people are constantly rubbing their eyes, or scratching their nose, or I got something, and you don't think about it, and you rub on there, and then you're not washing your hands, and you go back and you're doing something else. That is how everything is spread.
Oh, you want something that'll drive you nuts? Go through go through training about disease prevention, PPE and stuff. And she's right. One of the big things is us touching ourselves. I guarantee you sit through this class and you become aware of the fact that it spreads disease, and you'll be shocked at how often you find yourself touching your face or doing something like that, and it will drive you nuts.
Yeah, I always try to make sure, like, I'm so paranoid, especially if I have to go out in public and I know that I've been touching things or whatever. I try to get to the bathroom, even if it's a public bathroom, I don't care. So, I go in, wash after I've gone through the store and do all that, make sure that I wash, and then I grab the paper towel. And even most bathrooms, public bathrooms, if they don't have the paper towels and they only have the wind or whatever that's called, that thing, that machine, there's usually, if you look down at the bottom of the door, there's a little cleat there, and you just put your foot on the cleat and use that cleat to open up the door. It's pretty easy. And then you can just slide through the door. You don't have to touch the door. So all those filthy animals and women, I know you do it because I've been in the stall next to you and I heard your business. They will go to the bathroom and then they don't wash their hands and they walk out. And men, you do it too.
This is a good one here. This one, and having worked at a hospital, it amazes me how much they use these hospitals. Don't use hand sanitizer. I mean, there's times when you can use it, but don't use it constantly, because what it does,
you'll become immune.
It kills all the good stuff that helps fight the diseases off, and you're left vulnerable.
Yep.
Right. And think about this. What was a prime commodity during the COVID scare?
They were giving it to you for free by the gallons.
Yeah.
By the gallons.
Tiger. Tambra says a sweet gumball tincture. It's supposed to be like Tamiflu. Well, that's one thing. I miss the original Theraflu. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
That original formula Theraflu before they changed it, man, I'd start getting the sniffles. I would take that and it would just blow it right out of me, and I'd be good to go within 24 hours.
Well, I bet you maybe I could do some research and replicate something like that.
But yeah, so now's the perfect time to start thinking about these common diseases that
and you don't have, like I said,
kids will bring home.
Just even if you don't have children in your home, if you leave your house, you are vulnerable to that. And so, like I said, and you're not thinking because you haven't had children in the house, you go out in public, you're touching, you're doing all this and not washing your hands. And my biggest rule, my biggest pet peeve, and he even saw me and I'm like, oh, I better go to the bathroom. And so when I come out from public and I'm running little errands, like I had to get gasoline, I needed to go to the bank, and I needed to go get milk. I came home, unloaded everything, and then first thing I did was like, oh wait, and then I went to the bathroom, washed my hands. Gotta get all the outside out. Now do I do that 100% of the time? No, I forget. I'm human. But
well, and
most of the time,
she goes into a store, and if there's a cart, whether she's getting anything to put in it or not, she's got to grab a cart, and she pushes a cart around the bin. You just touch your face.
But I've been washing my hands. I've been on my house.
I'm just saying.
I touch my face a lot.
But yeah, she's got to go touch a cart, and those carts are some of the most filthiest things on the planet.
Yep.
Yeah, Max is right. 99% of illnesses can be avoided with good diet.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I just touched my face. So, good diet. That was one of the things I've talked about it before. How the Indians did not have a history of preventative medicine. They didn't do preventative medicine.
Because what they ate.
It's because of what they ate. It was in their diet.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to start incorporating these things into our diet.
Have you noticed how much purslane is out in the yard? All over the yard.
I don't know what purslane. I don't know what purslane.
But I fed it to you. It's
I know you fed it to me.
We got it in the front. We got it out here. We got it all back there. It goes all the way down in the pasture.
This is one of the reasons why I have a library, because you think a permaculture guy would know his plants, and that's one thing about William Bond that amazes me. The same with Billy, is they can look at something and they'll go, oh, that's such and such, that's such and such. Man, I gotta look that stuff up.
Well, I've got the mullein. I'm gonna go get some of that purslane. I'm gonna see if I pickle the purslane, It'll last over winter. I think I'm gonna pickle some and get that done. So
But
that purslane, you want to talk about not
okay,
getting
talk about
sick
the purslane. I'm gonna
and
get some of
adding
this.
that into your diet. Purslane is really, really good for that. And so a lot of it just grows in. So you need to think about your, I call them land salads. So, just kind of look and see, make sure it's edible. Purslane, you got to be careful with. Make sure the purslane is completely green and there's no red dots or it's not starting to turn red. So if you see there's red in the leaves, you don't want that. That one's no good for you. So, but yeah, no, diet is super, super important. That's what I have a lot of people like, my gut doesn't feel good. I'm like, well, fix it. Well, what do you mean fix it? Or they'll have like rashes and just all kinds of weird stuff going on. And I'm like, fix your gut. And they're, how do
What
I
is
do that?
purslane good for?
Purslane is good for everything. It's a superfood. And so it's super, did somebody ask that?
Yeah, right there. Tamber.
Oh, yeah. So the purslane is also called crackweed, and so it's even in the cities, and so it's that stuff that grows between the sidewalk cracks, and so that purslane is very, very high in vitamin C and all kinds of stuff. It's an absolute superfood. You'll love it. I did another one. I knew that I was getting sick. I didn't eat enough of it. Pussy willow flowers. Pussy willow flowers. Pussy willow is full and chocked with vitamin C. In fact, when you eat one petal off of it, you know how the Super C tablets taste? That's what it tastes like. But
Is that pussy willow up there?
yeah. So I boiled everything down and then put everything together and did vinegar with garlic and seasonings and that kind of thing. It was like you mac daddied on that. I need to make more of that.
I told you.
Yeah,
good.
I need to go get more and then make it, can it. But
So Tamara says she's got a lot of it.
yeah, so start using it. You can pickle. So if you take the leaves, you can take that off and then put those in your salads. We eat stems too, so I didn't necessarily do that. But you can take your stems and you can actually pickle that, and then you would have it all fall and winter, spring until it comes back.
And she made a stew out of it. She stewed.
No, like a salad. It was like a boiled salad.
That's called stew. You stewed everything. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I wouldn't call it that because there's no water in it when you're done. I strained it and then put the olive oil and all that stuff on there.
That was good.
Mm-hmm.
It was
really delicious.
It tasted really good.
Yeah. And that's from that little tip and hint and the identification of that plant is from our friends in Colorado. And so I really, really appreciate that. They brought me a whole baggie the last time they came, and I was like, wait a minute. And then she's like, look, you have it right here. We were standing out in front of the restaurant, and she's like, this is it right here. And like, oh my gosh, that's all over the place. So I need to go out and start cutting and harvesting.
Okay. So there's that. Now, we talked about, I mentioned how the U.S. government is stealing people's lands. We gave you the tools and the information to go out and start working on that and fighting against it. Now, I'm going to share something that I came across this week that I think is important. So there's a guy, his name is J.J. Carroll, Carrell. And he was on the Coffee and a Mic podcast over on Rumble.
Hey, Ghost.
Hey, Ghost. And I will put the link to this video down below. He was a station chief for the Border Patrol, and he's been doing documentaries and writing books about the problems at the border. And they ended up talking about child trafficking at the border, and he made the comment that the United States government is complicit in it. And anybody that's paying attention, it would not shock you to think that. Now, this video, I'm going to tell you right now, do not watch it if you are easily upset, because he is very vocal and he does not hold any punches back when he talks about it. All right, but I think it's a topic that we need to talk about, because he made the point that if the United States government is doing these kind of activities, the American people are the American government, and so we're culpable. And if we're culpable, that means that we're responsible for fixing it. All right, and ultimately, what that looks like is yet to be seen. But
I know what'll work.
But understanding what the problem is and who creates the problem goes a long way towards fixing it. All right.
What is an arms trafficker in the USA? Who? No, child trafficking. Child trafficking far it succeeds and is over gun trafficking and drugs. It raises the most money, child trafficking. And I can show you numbers on that. I can walk you through that. I've been in that line of work to prevent that. And so we educated a lot of people on what was going on working with HHS when it wasn't for child trafficking.
Mm-hmm.
And so, so I know the numbers. I couldn't imagine with open borders what the numbers are now.
Well, and this all, the government trying to take the land and the child trafficking accusations, like I said before, it goes to point how we need to be involved, and as community members, we need to get into active communities of like-minded people, and we need to go out and we need to attack these problems head on. The time of sitting back and just talking about it is quickly going away. Because I'm going to tell you right now. This is going to be. It's gonna sound kind of negative. I'm not going to lie. The idea that there isn't a political solution to the problems has been driven home to me, and I'm not quite sure that we're going to have a above board election. The way that the left is behaving and the powers that be are behaving, it's one of two things. It's either they are completely incompetent and they are completely out of touch, or they know the fix is in. All right, there's no way. I think we kind of touched on it last week. When you choose a partner, that partner is supposed to fill in the gaps where you're lacking in it, and they're supposed to make you a more whole person. If you look at the vice president pick, he doesn't fill in any deficiencies that Kamala Harris has. He doubles down on them. All right, they can't be that incompetent. They cannot be that out of touch. When I say they, I mean the people pulling the strings and the people calling the shots. They cannot be that out of touch and that incompetent. All right? And if you can't write something off to incompetence, then the only other alternative is malice. All right?
So Max says here, and he was talking, and so he says the cartel's charging $20,000 per person to come over the border. It's worse than that. So that's what they're telling them that they're charging. I'm kind of surprised that he actually knows that number, because I don't know that that's actually set in stone. So one of the issues that we're having, and where a lot of the child trafficking comes in, and let's just say human trafficking, period, where a lot of that comes in is the cartels. They say, okay, well, we did that, but now you owe us. We got you here, so now you owe us $100,000 or whatever amount of money that they put on that. So they're literally having to go to work, and then they have to pay back the cartel, because if they don't, their families are still back there, and the cartel will kill their families. So there's a threat on that.
Both you were talking about something that is ancillary to the trafficking question. So paying to get across the border.
Was there a trafficking question?
No, it's the trafficking topic.
All in the same. So child trafficking happens in the U.S. The U.S. is the number one consumer for child trafficking. We were talking about sex trafficking is what that is. So if you don't understand. One of the
things that J.J. Carroll talked about was the fact that, and this was the case, I remember years ago. The cartel was not involved in the sex trafficking aspect of it all. All they cared about was the drugs and getting people across the border. That's how they made their money.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they figured out that there's a huge market for it in the United States. That's why they got into sex trafficking, because if they sell you drugs or they get you across the border, it's done. You know, it's consumed. But if they sex traffic individuals, then they can do it over and over and over.
10 to 20 times a day.
You know, so
per person.
And again, whenever we're done, I'll go in and I'll put the link to this Rumble video. Like, don't watch it if you're easily upset. But if you watch it, you're gonna feel like you were punched in the gut, and you're gonna feel like some scales have fallen off your eyes. And this is coming from somebody who's been around. I was exposed to it through her dealing with it, doing it years ago. You know, so.
And we were having a hard time. You know, you asked me to put a number on it. There's so many that go unreported we don't even know. We were having a hard time getting enough beds in the United States for the children and women that we could rescue. And I just, it's got to be ungodly by now.
Yeah, Baron Pennant, he's a big proponent of that. And he and I were having a conversation 3 or 4 years ago, and he was talking about how few beds there are in the United States. And that's why his ministry, one of the things they do is to build inpatient facilities.
No, not just in massage parlors. It does happen there, but not just there. This is happening in our government. This is happening in the White House. This is happening. Congressmen have been found guilty, actually.
Politicians, businessmen, your neighbors,
judges,
your clergy, your teachers.
Yep, everywhere.
It's more wide. And I know.
Mayors.
And I know whenever you talk like this, people go, "Yeah, that sounds like crazy," but it's the truth. This is what's going on, and if you want to, how do I put this? You can tell how bad it is by how little they will talk about it, and how you are censored whenever you talk about it. They don't want you talking about the stuff that's going on.
So when we were going around and speaking and us educating people on what was going on, what the numbers look like and all of that, and we were giving them the information on where and what is happening and this kind of thing. And when we did that, the items that we got, the tools, we had little cards that they could take so they knew what questions to ask if they thought, well, man, that looks a little funny. So they could either ask that waitress or ask, whoever, are you okay? And then we had certain questions. HHS gave me every single item that I needed, every single piece of paper, pamphlet, any information. I got all of that for free to pass out everywhere we went to people. They don't do that anymore. I couldn't get in. I tried to get in because we have an issue now here. And I tried to get in to get all of that because I was going to take that to the group that is educating people now, the Sheriff's Department and all that. So I was going to try to get these items for them, knowing where to go. Can't get them. They're unattainable.
No, one of the things.
Thank you, Biden.
One of the things that, if you listen to people that do child rescue, and we've heard quite a few of their presentations. If you listen, one commonality that they have when they're talking is they will talk about how these big sporting events and these like the Super Bowl and the World Series and the Kentucky Derby, these are the biggest trafficking weekends or events in the nation. And
Max, I would suggest that, out of some of these questions that you're asking, I would suggest that you find somebody in your area that is actually teaching on the sex trafficking and all of that, and then go there and get your information. Get the pamphlets and do all that. For us to go over here and do all of that, I'm burnt out. I am so burnt out. And it's not, so I'm just going to make this very brief for you. It's not just men abusing. It is women that are abusing. It is just the nastiest thing that I have ever witnessed in my life. And it's all over the place. You just have wicked people out there. No child under the age of 18 should be subject to any of this crap. No grown woman should be subject to this crap. We do have it's Victoria's, is it Victoria's Closet, something like that, in Kansas City. She's open, so try to get a lot of the prostitutes and things like that to come in so they can talk to them and then make sure that they're fed and they've got hygiene and that kind of thing, because that's not provided for them. They're expected to hand over all their money, and if they don't perform X amount, then I mean, it's bad. So you've got children, you've got being all the children. Every time I hear a child's been kidnapped, I just cringe because you don't really know where that child is going. You don't know what's going to happen.
So Rabbit says BACA. That's Bikers Against Child Abuse.
Yeah.
And they do great work. They really do.
So that would be a good place for you to go. And so, but I'm not the one here on this video to try to go over all of that with you.
Well, and Max brings up a good point, inadvertently. Don't take our word for it.
Yeah, go find out.
Don't take our word for it. This is one of the things that we constantly push on this channel, is we bring you this information. It's your job to go out and learn more about it and verify what we're talking about, whether it's true or not. Okay. And this is one of those topics where we are not experts on it. We have been, she's done work in the field, and I've been exposed to it through her work. And then just self-education. I can't tell you numbers. I can't tell you if it's 50 million or 100
million. And they change every year, and now the borders are open, so it's got to be something absolutely tremendously disgusting right now. So
this is the reason why I want everybody to go out, if they can stomach it, to watch this video. It's not disgusting. It's just it's very it'll tug at your soul. But go out and watch this and see if that doesn't move you to go learn more about it and decide to do something about it.
Yeah, Joseph G, and I'll tell you this too. And so, men and women alike. So actually, the prime age of what they want for a male to be on the street working as a prostitute is 11 to 15 years old. Privately trafficked is from 4 years old to 11. And so at least that's what it was back when I was working. So, this is why I always cringe every time I see some mother not paying attention to where their children is in the store. I'm just like, I try to keep an eye on to make sure if I know that child belongs to this person, then I try to keep an eye on them. And that's why my kids thought that I was so helicopter mom and crazy, but I just wanted to keep them safe. And
and it talks to the rot in our society. And this is one of the things, one of the reasons why we do the videos that we do, and I talk about the stuff that I talk about, is because we need to, that rot's not going to stop by itself.
Yeah.
We have to facilitate it. The no political solution to what's going on, the solution lies in your community and rebuilding the moral and ethical framework of your community.
Yeah, and isn't Sound of Freedom, isn't that being streamed now?
I don't know.
Check and see if Sound of Freedom has been streamed, Max. Sound of Freedom would be a good place for you to start too. Well, I know that it's it's a movie, and so there's some things that are added for drama and that kind of thing. But
and
for the most part, it's true.
There's an interesting point there. As soon as Sound of Freedom came out, they started attacking the dude, the agent.
That he wasn't credible.
Yeah, that he wasn't credible. The very first thing that the media and everybody started doing was trying to discredit him and saying he was a fraud.
Yeah, Rabbit, you're absolutely right. Yes, we had that incident. Small town, Cass County, Missouri. And in Pleasant Hill, we had a woman who was selling her third grader so that she could pay her rent. And most disgusting thing. I wanted to just go in there and beat the crap out of her. And but yeah, no, so no, it's everybody that takes advantage.
Well, and
not everybody, but men and women.
Randy says that when good people look away, then do nothing, and bad guys step in and do what they want. Again, from a preparedness standpoint, this is why we don't lock ourselves away whenever something happens. This is why if everything starts, when everything starts falling apart, we don't lock ourselves away. We put ourselves out there and we expose ourselves, even if it may put us in increased danger.
And even if it makes you uncomfortable. So if something's happened to you in your past, stop. There's a point I always say. There's a point that you have to figure out how to take your life back. And there's a point that you step up and you say, I'm not a victim anymore. And then you say, okay, so how do I turn this around? And so what
Hey, guys, listen. Off topic a little bit. If I miss any of your comments, please don't be offended. I stared at a computer screen all day long, and I am extremely tired. And
that's why I'm supposed to be watching, but Max got me talking.
even with my readers on, it's nothing but everything's just a blur. And I'm trying to catch everything, and I'm having a hard time doing it.
But what I'm saying is, there's a time that you come out of being a victim, and you say, I'm a survivor. And then what you need to do is you go out and you start teaching other people on what is happening and what is going on. You know, the different varieties of everything that is happening. I was never sold in the street, so I don't want to give you that picture. But where I got that experience is when I was helping rescue the people from the street. And so, you know, you have to figure out when that changes, and then you go and do that. And it just so happened that that's where I ended up. And so I met somebody, and we just kind of ran with it. And it all started actually, this is where it all started. The I was teaching act teens, and we went to another church.
Act teens is a girls activity in the Baptist church.
Yeah, and so like kind of like Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts, but it's church youth group, and it's only girls. And so we were actually going to a homeless women and children's shelter and feeding them. And so we would work in the kitchen, you know, and do all that stuff, you know, have the food, and then we would serve everybody. And so we would do that, and that's where it all started. And then next thing you know, I was taking them to Florida for the expo. So there was actually the Act Teens conference that happened to be in Florida. So girls raised money. We went there, and
at Disney World.
Yeah, that's the ironic place.
That's so ironic.
It was at Disney World, but that was before any stuff was coming out. And so we went there, and what was it? It's there's actually a name for it. It's been so long, but they actually they raise money and send beds overseas, over to like Ukraine and that area, Romania, and different places.
It was one of the smaller Eastern European countries.
Sleep something. And so actually one of my girls as an adult, she actually ended up going overseas and working with them. But they provide beds for these children, try to keep them safe and give them housing. And so we got into that, and the girls were just like, we have to do something. And from there, they were like, Mama A, we have to do something. Well, there's only so much that girls under the age of 18 can do. So it was my place to step up and show an example, and that's what I did.
Yeah, you know, Max, we talk about a little bit of everything. It just so happens that today was one of those days where, actually the last 3 or 4 days, was when these topics came up, and these are important. These are the whole permaculture and the homesteading and doing all that stuff is important. But these other things are important, because no matter what we do, we can try to isolate ourselves away from all this stuff. Eventually, it's going to come into our world, whether we want it to or not. So we got one of two choices right now. We can either hide away from it, not talk about it, or we can address it head on right now, so that when the time comes, we've got the weapons and the tools to combat it.
And I would actually say that when these things happen, they do affect farming. So we're on the 75 corridor, and so.
Well, yeah, the 30 by 30 affects the farming stuff, yeah.
But I would say sex trafficking does too, and I've told you this over and over. And so when the borders started opening up, you know how farmers are, we'll help everybody. You need help, your neighbor needs help, you're right there for them. Well, all of a sudden we had vehicles that were showing up, and I noticed this guy, because it didn't just happen once, it happened a few times. And so I was like, what is going on? Okay, he's heading north he needs gas, you know, that kind of thing. Well, I saw people stopping, handing them cash and doing all of that. So then a few days later, he was gone. They took off. And then I saw him again, like a week later or something like that. And so I saw him again on the same corner, because that corner worked out really well for him. This time he didn't have 3 kids and a wife with him. This time he was all by himself. And he went, whoa, wait a minute, what? And I made sure I checked the van to see if anybody was in there, and there was nobody in there. And so it just didn't make any sense. And so it caught my curiosity because I've seen this. I know the pattern. And so I came home and I said something to him. And then I was like, maybe the sheriff's department needs to be alerted and everything else. About the third time the same guy did it, the sheriff's department was informed. And then that is when somebody else set up an informational meeting to teach them about trafficking.
Rabbit, we are not. It's Marshfield, and we are not going to go to that festival. I'm sorry, I did not enjoy that festival. I just it was just
weird.
I don't know how to explain it. Met some really good people.
Yeah.
Met some really good people, but just something about that. It was they like crammed everybody on top of each other, and there was a lot of good information that was passed on. People seemed to enjoy it, but as a vendor, it was not one I want to do again.
Yeah, and it's also one that if we ever did it again, it's also one that we would have to have a crap ton of different products. Sun ovens, we would have to have, we know, at least 60 to 100 sun ovens on hand. We would need to have a lot because the only ones really there are the Amish. And so, and Amish don't do credit cards.
You know what, Joseph? I disagree with that statement.
What did he say?
He says that until he owns acreage, there's no point in going to homesteading events. I disagree.
You need to start learning now.
Yeah, you need to start learning now, and the connections that you can make at these things are awesome. Mm-hmm. And so, most definitely, I would recommend. You know, in fact, we talk. You'd be surprised at how many people we talk to during the festival season that say, I don't own any land, but I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
Or I'm not quite sure where to begin.
Well, that's how we built our community here, right?
Yeah.
So there were a lot of people that were looking, they were wanting to do it. They didn't know what area to go to. And we started doing the community dinners and all that. And now we have tons of families moving in and buying land and building their houses now, getting ready to start farming. And then we actually have a community lunch on Saturday. Mm-hmm. We have another family coming in and looking, so we're going to meet them, see what they're about, see what's going to work, what's not going to work. Not that we approve or deny them. We just figure out who they are, how they are, and if we want them part of our immediate community. So, and you don't know that off of one introduction. You got to get to know them. But the first impressions mean something.
Listen, guys, if you're not busy tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Central Standard, is it? It's either 7 or 8.
He said Central Standard Time.
I think I don't know. It's either 7 or 8. I gotta go back.
I thought it was 8.
But Zach is doing a live tomorrow, and he invited me and some other people on, and it should be a very interesting talk. Turning Guns, how you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Yeah, Rabbit, you're right. Yeah. Yeah. And I don't think he's being mean, Joseph. He's just trying to make a point.
No, that's Rabbit. He's being mean.
Rabbit's not.
He's being curmudgeonly.
He's not being mean. Although he does think he's pretty stinking set down there at Lake of the Ozarks.
8 p.m. Central tomorrow. There you go.
He's not so worried about the 30 by 30. So if you don't know, Rabbit actually comes on to our girls' lives, and he's so sweet in there. And he comes in and he buys drinks for all the ladies in the house. So everybody in the comments gets a free drink. It's on him.
Joseph G says, honestly, I just get so depressed about not having land. I'm not able to feed my family safe food. Well,
but see, this is where you start. So then you go there to those festivals. Just as we said this before, I think you've even personally talked to him. And so, we've said this before. This is where you get to know the community and you start making deals with the local farmers and homesteaders. Mm-hmm. And so then, buy their eggs, buy their meat, buy their greens and that kind of thing. And then, we all can, but well, I'm not going to say that. Most of us can. And so, you get the canned goods through the winter and that kind of thing. Start learning from them.
Again, we talked about this before. If you cannot grow your own food, you don't have the ability or the acreage, find a CSA. Find a community. Oh, gosh.
I wish you were closer. We got lamb ready to go to butcher. If you're coming through, you'd always pick one up.
Anyway, the CSA, you're buying shares in the future product of the farmer. You can get the food you're looking for by doing this, and it's a beneficial arrangement for everybody. Okay, every little bit helps. Start small in containers. We'll all start someplace.
I think, okay, so I get that, and I think Joseph gets that. He's a truck driver.
Yeah.
And so he needs his wife on board.
Yeah.
In order to make those containers work, guys. So.
And he's a prime example of everybody's situation is different.
Yeah.
Right?
But how fun would it be if you could figure something out on a semi truck? That'd be pretty cool.
Dude, oh, that's what you do, Joseph. You find one of those movable gosh, what are they called? It's this new thing on the East Coast where they've got these trucks that have hydroponics in the trailer, and they go around and they do community trucks. That's what you do. You find a gig hauling those things around.
That'd be awesome.
That way, whenever the stuff hits the fan, that trailer just disappears.
Yeah, look at this, what Max says. Look at that. 77 acres, $10 million. Sister Bay, Wisconsin. That's insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
Max, are you on freesteading.com yet? If you aren't, you probably ought to get on there. There's quite a big community on that website from Wisconsin.
Yeah. Huge
very
area.
Very active.
And they even travel down to festivals and stuff. So yeah. And if you meet up Carrie and Glenn, man, they're good people.
Be careful, 5-gallon buckets or gateway to high tunnels. Absolutely.
That's true too.
Let's see here. Terrible. I have 4 greenhouses and.
Yeah. Did you see Mossy Oak had to go get a permit for her greenhouse? The dumbest thing I ever seen. I couldn't believe it. Our county's lost their mind.
I looked at a 100-year-old house on some property. When they fired up the utilities, it was a live big hazardous boom thingy.
Whoops.
We lived in a house.
Wait a minute. We must still be on what's it called, the knob and tube?
Yeah. Oh, we had a house that was all knob and tube, and yeah, that was a disaster waiting to happen.
Yep.
Let's see here. Okay, so that was what Brian said. So yeah, so that, as you can see, Max, and if Hippocrates Garden was in here, the conversation would be swerving around like a drunken
sailor.
Like a drunken sailor, yeah.
Oh.
I'm terrified of getting into another mortgage with the economy crashing. I'm completely out of debt. I'm completely debt free now.
Yay!
Well, congrats to you, man.
Welcome to the Freeman Club.
Congrats to you.
You might check and see what your house is worth, and then once you look at that and see how that goes, then you know what your budget is for land. So that's how a lot of us have done it anyway.
Well, you know what, guys? We've been at this for an hour, a little over an hour. You got anything else you want to talk about?
No, nothing. No, nothing comes to mind. I think we went over everything for next week. I'm going to be busy through Sunday, so with company and stuff coming in. So I got to get some last minute things. So I don't know. Next Tuesday, you may ask, what'd you do this week? Cook, clean. That's not how my week is going to go. So.
Yeah, I need to get out. I need to get out and get the animals. It's
almost dark.
You know, this is one of those. Well, it's overcast. Number one. Number two. I dislike daylight savings. On somebody heard me talking.
You're not in time.
I know. You hear that? They're out there screaming at me.
I was supposed to email Yoda after I spoke to you.
He keeps forgetting.
We
can't make you hit that send button, Joseph.
Yep.
Simple 1 acre plot of bare land can be had for under $10K in a lot of good places.
Oh yeah.
Good areas.
Yeah.
It's a good start. Yeah.
Yeah, apparently now in our county, very soon you'll be able to buy 3 acres and not have to buy any more than that.
So, unless you guys have anything you want to talk about, this is the last call where you guys get to. We hand the subject matter over to you guys.
You guys get to ask whatever you want at this moment.
Well, not whatever. Within reason.
If you have any questions, then now it's time to put them in. And if you don't, then we can just all sign off and say goodnight.
Things to remember. Zach's live tomorrow if you've got the time. Should be interesting. Next Monday, local government reimagined with Tag and Indiana Mike. We're going to talk about how you are the key to changing local government and the way it interacts with the people.
Rabid, yes, there are. So everybody's kind of moving in. There are some stills that are going now. As soon as we have a separate building, I don't know. He's trying to talk me into doing it in the back of the house. As soon as we have our own building,
Do it in here if I want.
So as soon as we have our own building, then he'll get his running. He is making wine and that kind of stuff though. So yes, there are some going.
Hey, I have not touched alcohol since 4th of July weekend. I'm pretty proud of myself. I don't mean that in a boastful sort of way. I'm just saying
He's trying to get the weight off.
It's
And you've really been doing good with grains too. I'm really surprised. Did you?
I cheated today.
Dang
I
it.
had one of your burritos and I had some sun chips. Put the link somewhere easy to find. Yeah. It's not going to happen immediately, so check back tomorrow morning. Actually,
for Monday's live. Monday's live, I need you to have posted by Thursday.
Monday's live is already up.
Is it? Okay.
It's already up.
All right.
And the link for Zach's. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll put that in a community post tomorrow too.
Oh, Joseph, it's not.
One of the goats is out. That's why.
Oh, is that what the problem is?
Yeah, that's what the problem is.
Yeah. So Missouri is not as expensive as Kansas is right now. We've kind of worked around that, and this is why it's important again to build community and figure out where everybody is. So we actually had one guy that owned hundreds and hundreds and possibly thousands of acres. And so we've had local community that's just moving in, and they've been able to go and say, hey, would you mind, we only want this amount of acreage. Could you split this into 40, this into 40, this into 20, this into 60? This person's going to buy this one, this one's going to buy this one, etc. And they come up with a fair price, and it's done. So he has been excellent with that and not overpricing stuff, because even though you put something on, you got to worry about water and all of that. City people are just going to come in and pay whatever you ask. And so that's where things like $10 million and $3.5 million for 78 acres in a house is ridiculous on the highway. And then no fencing, no nothing. It was so stupid. I couldn't believe it. And then, so we're able to say, hey, we know that this acreage right here is worth $3 to $6 grand. Let's really talk and get something together. And so they've been able to do that. A lot of families have. So it's just getting to know your community.
Now we've got 2 small goats out.
All right, it's time to go feed them.
All right. Hey, guys, listen. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for being with us tonight. Lots of things to talk about. I'm going to go feed the animals. Or not feed them. I'm going to get them out on pasture. And I want you guys to be patient with me. I'll get the information about those videos that I talked about and about the 30 by 30. And we'll see if we can.
And there's interactional sites too. So you can see exactly, no matter what state you're in, you can go there at the map. And if you just enlarge it and keep enlarging it, it's interactive. It'll take you directly to your county and show you exactly where that line, where the map line is coming through, where they're going to put all of this stuff.
But this is stuff that we need to be involved in. We need to think about. We need to educate people about.
I wish Gregory Kissel was in here, because he needs to really see that. Yeah. It's going straight through where they are.
It's that time of year, though.
That's true. He's probably out cutting hay and doing all that.
He's probably still working.
Or wrestling cows at this point. All right, guys. Until next time, be at least 1% better tomorrow than you were today.
Yeah, and guys, go out and try to live a life done for you. Okay, take care.
Okay, bye.